This is episode 8 of Not Another Paranormal Podcast. It is I, Blossoming Sun, aka Brittany, with one of my moderators from Twitch. If you don't know what Twitch is, you should go to twitch.tv/Blossoming Sun and click the follow button, and then you can ask me any questions that you have about it. And with me is Leaf. That's what I call him.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Leaf. Are you excited to tell me about all your ghosty stories?
I have a few I can share with you, yeah.
Okay, so you're like the most logical person that I know, other than like my husband, because he's like a computer. That's how much logic.
Yeah,
he has.
I get that. I get that for sure.
But you're also one of the people that's like so logical, but you also believe in ghosts. And we were having a discussion earlier about life force, and so you were saying ghosts in the machine. People believing that there is your essence, your spirit is inside the flesh, right? And when they're separated, the machine, which is the flesh, is just like done with. It's unnecessary. And then you think the spirit just dwells here on Earth, just hangs out, relaxes, maxes, acting all cool, shooting some people outside of the school.
So actually, I was thinking about it before I came on here, and I was like, that Blossoming Sun lady is a skeptic. And
I think most people that do still believe in ghosts, though, are skeptics. Like, you have to be a little skeptical. I'm not a cynic.
Yes.
Like, I would say that I'm very open to having experiences. I would say I'm skeptical, but not cynical. So there's like that fine line where it's like,
well, you're still open-minded.
Yes. Cynical people are just like,
aren't convinced.
Ghosts aren't real. There's no empirical evidence. They're not real. You can't prove it, so they're just not there. And I'm more like, well, maybe we just don't have the technology for it yet. We didn't have technology a long time ago. Not even a long time ago. Like 50 years ago, our phones were like tubes. They were just tubes that we yelled really loud in. So
right, exactly. Like, times change and we get more perspective. But I think for myself too,
you just died. You were gone. Oh, what?
Okay.
I
was saying, like, I don't know that I necessarily believe in them either.
Okay.
But I can't explain them. So until I have a working explanation, that's what I have.
I agree with that. I can see that.
Just because when we talk about science, right, I can't bring something paranormal into the lab and replicate what I experienced.
Right.
If we can repeat something, and produce the same result, whether or not, if I myself am personally experiencing it, that's science.
Yeah.
If you can't repeat it on demand and produce the same results, that's something else.
Yeah.
So it's not science.
If it were like, okay, because humans aren't all going to respond the same, even if they could. That's why, like, things are so hard, because like if ghosts are real, they're people, right? They're people, just not allegedly, in their machine, quote unquote. And so if I kept asking you to do the same thing over and over again, Leaf, you would eventually be like, I don't want to do this again.
Right.
So imagine all the ghosts that paranormal experts have ever talked to. What's the one question? They're like, say something if you're here. They always ask that question. Ghosts must be fucking tired of answering. I can only imagine they're going to respond with such a way that they don't give a fuck anymore. They just want to they're going to say whatever they want to say. They're not going to say the same thing over and over again because it's boring, because they've said those things already. I just can't imagine one, being able to have empirical evidence where it's going to be the same. Granted, you could replicate and say, okay, this thing responded when I asked this question, or when I requested something to touch me, it touched me, and then I requested it to touch me again. But it's like, the ghost is only going to put up with so much of that shit because they're a person. You
Yes,
know?
but then you think about what they do with the places they haunt, and they just stay there. Like Marilyn Monroe, famed actress, right? She died and has been haunting the same stairwell for decades,
Interesting.
walking up and down the stairwell. Hello?
Well,
I don't know.
there's this
But that's
thing,
them. That could be introspective.
right? There's this thing that
But
I have deliberated upon, and it's like, perhaps I don't believe in ghosts, but perhaps I believe in impressions. Because, okay, when I went to St. Albans and we went to the sanatorium and we were there for the quote unquote ghost seekers convention, whatever. There was a lot of talks. There was a lot of speakers there, and they were all talking about their ghost experiences. And I'm just like sitting there as like a brand new person in this sort of space, and I'm like, why the fuck aren't they trying to help these ghosts like move on? Why aren't they helping them move on? Like they could work with these ghosts, obviously, but a lot of them don't believe those are fully sentient people. Does that make sense? Like
yes.
they think that they're impressions that were left behind by those people, and they were just a part of that person, and that's why maybe Marilyn Monroe walks up and down the stairs, you know, for
Like an
so
echo.
many years. Like an echo, exactly. Like an echo. So it's like, that's why a lot of them don't necessarily try to help people move on, because a lot of the time it's not a what they consider a quote unquote sentient spirit. Sometimes they think it's just an impression. Like if I had a giant fight, like a massive drag out fight with someone, and then later on I died, and maybe it was a tumultuous thing. Maybe some of that like crazy tumultuous energy when I died bled over into those other tumultuous places where I had been before. So I don't know. It's interesting to think about.
It is.
So, but that has to be the reason people don't help people move over, like move on. So
True.
I
And I
never.
think about it now that you mention it. How many times do you hear about a spirit imparting new information?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
usually things you already know, or that they told you when they were alive.
Right.
But like, if their minds are actually intact and capable of transmitting new information, something they saw in the paper, or something that you left nearby,
Yeah.
or an experience they had with somebody asking their name too many times.
Yeah.
Like, can you please tell that psychic not to come around here anymore?
Yeah. See, that's
Or
why
whatever.
I think it's. So there's this one girl that I watch on YouTube. Her name is Haley Reese.
Okay.
And she has just started to do some paranormal investigations as well. And so the reason why, okay, so I don't believe in ghosts, quote unquote, like spirits that are stuck here on Earth. I may believe in impressions. That is probably the thing that I'm trying to seek out myself.
Okay.
But I do believe in two other fucking things, which are angels and demons, because those shits are real. Those shits are real. They're real. And the whole reason I wanted to bring them up is Haley Reese. She went to a very haunted motel that has burned down before in New Jersey. And she went and she brought a spirit box with her. And it actually continued to say her name. And then it said her full name. And she has never said her full name on a YouTube video before. And so she did not understand how it was. And her mom doesn't call her. Her mom was the one that was with her. And so it kept saying, Haley's here. And then it said, Haley's back. And then it said, Haley Reese. It said her full name. And she was like, what the fuck? And people don't call you by your full name unless you're in trouble. And so
Generally, yes.
she started after the first like session with the spirit box and the EVP. She said that it seemed evil, and so I think she was getting fucked with by a demon. Because
evil.
Yeah, because the sentient things, like Haley Reese is not her real name. Haley Reese is her YouTube name. That's something that's very recent. So that spirit had to have learned about her. And not just like from anywhere. Had to have learned about her from the internet. You know what I mean? So that's kind of fucking spooky. And the thing leading up to that, there's a place in New Jersey called the Gates of Hell. And there's also a place called the Devil's Tower. And so Haley Reese was making like this big paranormal trip. She was going from the Devil's Tower to the Gates of Hell. And then from there, she was going to her motel with her mom, the motel that was haunted. And so they went to the Devil's Tower. Then they put in their GPS. They put in Google Maps, the Gates of Hell. And then when they put it in, it led them to their motel. It didn't lead them to the actual place. And she was like very confused. Yeah, she's like blogging and she's like, we're about to be there. And then like they turned a corner and they drove down and it was their hotel instead of like the actual place they were supposed to be going to. And it was kind of
What if it's a crazy stalker?
I have no idea. I don't know. It's weird.
There's some crazy people. They're hackers.
It's crazy.
They're really wild people.
Anyways, so I believe in demons. I believe in demons.
What about angels? Have you had an experience with an angel?
I've never had an experience with an angel.
My grandma met an angel.
Oh, really? I feel like my grandmother met an angel too. She's gotten me books about them over the years, like different kinds of angels and different experiences people have had with angels. So I think she's had one. She just doesn't want to tell me. But
my grandma lives next to she's in a really bad part of town.
Okay.
She lives like right outside Birmingham,
stabby part of town. Okay.
All right. Yeah, it's really dangerous, really seedy, and the people next door were like drug dealers and always getting into. They invite like really bad people over. And one night there was like some kind of explosion or some kind of altercation, and she woke up, and right by her bed is this night table, and there was a person sitting next to her, like on the floor, in a police uniform, pointing a gun at the house next door. And he told her everything would be fine.
Oh, wow.
And she just felt this peace all over her. And apparently there was a drug bust.
Oh, wow.
And everything was, it could have easily, escalated and come next door, but, she felt protected.
That's really neat. I would be shitting.
But I mean, oh my gosh. Well, but I mean, that's, when we talk about evidence, it's really interesting because, as far as what we've learned from psychology and, scientific principles of research, eyewitness testimony is about the lowest possible evidence you could ever invoke.
Yeah. Especially now.
Our senses are not that great.
Yeah.
So when we talk about, actual evidence, we're talking like chart recorders and microscopes and things we can use to extend our senses or replace them completely.
Right. Yeah.
Because what I see, but then that eyewitness testimony is also one of the highest, most prized things in the court of law, which is very concerning.
You're right. You're correct.
You said you saw what now? You saw what?
Yeah. That's like why the Salem witch trials happened.
Right.
I've seen her dancing naked in the moonlight.
Yeah. I saw Goody Blossom with the devil. Yeah, okay. All right. All right.
Oh, God.
But it's like, is putting my hand on this book gonna make me tell the truth?
No.
The way
no.
a recorder will.
Nothing will make you tell the truth like a recorder. Yeah. Well, sir, I know I said that in the recording, but I didn't really mean it that way.
That was out of context. That was a soundbite. That was a voice impression.
That's so funny. And
yeah,
crazy.
But yeah, it's just.
I would like. So you haven't had an encounter with a angel?
No.
No. Have you had an encounter with a demon?
Not personally, but my friend got attacked by one.
Oh my God, what happened?
And she has scars on her back.
Oh my God, that's so fucking
scary.
It
claws and scarred her back up.
Oh my God, that's so crazy.
So it's really interesting because her I don't know how it works. She's super sensitive.
Okay.
And her life essence is somehow accessible from beyond.
Yeah.
And so when she goes near things, whether she knows they're there or not, they start siphoning it away.
That's what happens with
And then she
Cricket.
feels drained and weak, but then they can manifest.
That's what
So
happens
she
with
was,
Cricket. We were in the
oh my gosh.
sanatorium and she said she could feel something happening and then she started to get really weak and then other things started fucking happening. Like nothing was happening before. She started feeling weak and then shit started happening. Very
You started seeing
interesting.
it too.
I've only when we went to the sanatorium, I didn't ever feel creeped out. I never felt unsafe. I never felt sad. I never felt angry. I never felt anything emotion wise. So emotionally, I was fine. I didn't see anything like crazy spooky. I saw one thing happen, but it was like it could have been from outside because there's so many windows there. So that's why I'm like, I don't know if it happened or not. But I thought I saw, we turned the lights off completely in one area. It was the alcoholics area. And in the alcoholic ward, they had just one big long hall of where everyone stayed. And they had they have like one big area where everyone would sit around. And then they had door after door after door of all these little smaller rooms where they would just sleep, right? And so I was sitting against the farthest wall, closest to outside. And I could see into two of the rooms. And the room closest to me, I swear that I saw some sort of shadow move in that room. It could have been from outside, people walking around with flashlights and whatnot, because there was like over 50, 60 people there.
Sure.
But that was the only time that I thought I saw something, and I was like, well, maybe it was from outside. There's a lot of people here, so I could blame it on them. But if there had been no one else and that still would have happened, I'd been like, interesting. Should have more people around. So that's the only thing that was weird that happened. Because
Did you go in there where the shadow moved?
no, it was full of stuff. It was really not.
Oh.
There's a lot of areas in that sanatorium because it's so old where it's not really safe to go in. And they're trying to renovate it as best as they can, but there's a lot of places where you could fall through the floor. The wall has started to decay and it could fall on you. Yeah, so that was like
Condemned. Okay.
yeah. So, well, it was condemned for a while, and then this guy started to do these paranormal investigations, and like that's how he funds the place. So, yeah, it's actually a great idea because he wants it to be beautiful again, like how it used to be, because it was gorgeous. It was a Victorian style house. It's awesome, but it was in such disrepair. They're just slowly working on it. But yeah, that's
the only. Can use the money
that's
to
the
like
only
renovate it.
thing.
That's cool.
What's your spookiest thing that you've ever? Well, would you like to start from childhood? Your spooky things that you saw when you were
okay. All right. So those are really tame.
Okay, that sounds good. Let's start with tame and then move on.
Okay, so when I was really young, I was in elementary school, and we'd have like breakfast in the kitchen, and then at the end of the hallway in the kitchen is this half bath. And the half bath has a window on the far wall. Right. So it's pretty narrow, as one typically is.
Yeah.
And I'd be standing there brushing my teeth, and sometimes there'd be a girl with like medium length brown hair standing over by the wall. And she didn't look at me, but then sometimes she would look at me. And I just thought it was strange, but I was a kid, like I didn't think anything about it.
Yeah.
Like I didn't associate that with like fear or like whatever. Right. I was like, oh, that's strange. But I'd see her in the mirror. Because we had like a long mirror.
Yeah.
And then when I would turn to look at her, she wasn't there.
Oh my God.
So
that's spooky.
So I dealt with that for a long time. And
when you say a long time, how long do you mean?
Probably at least a year.
Oh my God.
At least a year. Not all the time, but like
on and off.
Somewhat frequently.
See her when you were brushing your teeth, or
when I was brushing my teeth in the mornings before school.
Interesting.
And then not any other time.
Oh, really?
So I could have just been like tired or something.
Yeah, you could have.
Sleep brain or something.
But for a whole
we were getting up so early in the morning. It was like 6:30.
Yeah.
But yeah. So there was that, and then there was an older gentleman that was in our dining room. He stayed in like one corner, in like the back corner near the china hutch. And
that is like the most
he would
southern
just
thing that
stay
you
in
just
there.
said. China hutch.
The china hutch.
I don't think
What do you
in
say
the
about
North
the
have
china
those.
hutch?
No. I'm just saying I don't think people in the North know what China hutches are. I don't
Oh,
think they have good china.
they're china
You know what I mean?
cabinets.
I don't think they have a place. I think they just use all their plates. They don't have like decorative plates. Leaf.
Oh,
They don't have like
well, you're
special
missing out.
plates. Yeah.
But yeah, like
I've mentioned China before, and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, like where you keep your nice china, your china hutch, or your china cabinet, or your curio cabinet, and they're like, "What?" I'm like,
it's
"Where do you
like
put
it's
your?"
heirloom dishware.
Yeah, it's like stuff that your family doesn't want you to throw away, and so you're forced to keep it. So you have to buy something special for it.
It's like your great, 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 great. Can you just no? Just like
No.
it's fine.
Okay, so
But
he's
yeah,
sitting. He's sitting in the corner back there.
well, he wasn't sitting. He was standing there.
Oh,
I'd
was he
see
facing
him
you?
sometimes.
Ooh.
Sometimes he had like a full head of hair and a beard,
Okay.
and but like his hair was all like gray and white. He was
Oh wow.
very clearly old.
Right.
But I only saw him a few times,
Interesting.
and I would just feel him the rest of the time.
Mm.
And it would be really strong in parts of the dining room, like wherever he was. And he'd usually stay in the back part.
Uh-huh.
So like, you could like walk in the edge there and like be okay. But I'd start to really feel him, and I don't think anybody else had an experience in there.
Interesting.
Um,
Would you say that you're
but
pretty
yeah,
sensitive to stuff like that? Like you can like feel.
moderately sensitive.
Okay.
There are some people that are, like I'm so glad I don't like have to see and deal with everything, but I have
That's how
seen a
Cricket
lot
is.
more than
Cricket can
average people.
see literally like when we were in the sanatorium, she was saying like she was seeing people poke their heads out of every single room. Like
Oh my gosh.
every single room there was someone poking their head out. Or she said one time there was a guy that ran up to her and he
Oh,
ran from the corner of the room of one of the bedrooms, ran from the corner straight up to the door and just like put his, put his hands on each side of the doorway, like on the
yeah.
sill or the door jamb and like just stood there staring at her, and she was like, "Yeah, that's been happening a lot. People are really angry in here." And I was like, "Oh my god, why would I don't want to see that. That's not
Oh,
something that I want." So, yeah, I'm glad that you have it moderately and not like cuz that must be
yeah.
exhausting.
I imagine. Yeah, it takes a lot of energy to power them too.
Yeah.
Um, but spirits tend to gravitate toward water, and I lived across the street from a lake.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So I don't know what that connection is, but I have heard it made a few times. And like that was the thing. I remember being out in this is an exception. I was out in the front yard with my brother and sister. I think my sister's like on her tricycle or something. And I looked up and I saw somebody looking out the glass by the front window. Like on the side of the dining room. So it's kind of like, I don't know who that is. So I asked my mom if that was her, because it was a good distance, but I saw somebody,
Right. Yeah.
but she said it wasn't her and there was nobody else in the house.
Mm.
And then there was a boy with short dark hair, and I only ran into him once, but years later, okay, my sister, she gets kind of paranoid about things like that, and then she gets really like, oh, I saw that, oh my gosh, I see everything. And
Okay, so quick question. Does all of your
yes,
family see ghosts in your house?
no,
Okay.
no. But my sister had similar experiences. I talked to her years after the fact because I didn't
Right.
want to disturb any of that.
Right. Yeah.
And she had seen the girl once,
Yeah.
and the boy had jumped on her bed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like while she was
Interesting.
laying there, she woke up, she heard something, and she rolled over, and he like dived on top of her and
Oh.
was gone.
Oh, wow. Maybe he wanted to
Yeah.
play and jump on the bed.
I guess. I
That's
guess.
crazy.
But I thought it was interesting because I was like, what do you look like? And she described him perfectly.
And you were like, "Oh shit, that's the
Yeah,
boy I
I
saw."
saw the same one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
there was once there was a cat in my parents' bedroom.
Oh,
Yeah, it was like
interesting.
a tabby.
Oh, ghost cat.
Yeah.
I've been hearing more and more often about ghost cats. It's
Yeah, ghost
interesting.
cats.
That's cute.
It
I
it
like.
is.
I would rather if I had to encounter a ghost, I'd prefer my first ghost to be a ghost animal of some sort of ghost dog or ghost cat or even a
Yeah.
ghost hamster. That'd be adorable.
Yeah. Something that you don't have to like worry that they have, intentions or, you can just kind of be like, I know what that is. That's familiar.
Yeah, for sure. So those are
Are you
from
ready for
when
the next one?
you were okay. Oh, you have more from when you were little. What I was going to
No, no,
ask
no, no,
is,
no. That's it.
oh, okay, okay.
That's them.
So what I wanted to ask is, has any ghost ever talked to you?
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay. All
Oh,
right. Okay.
yes.
So let's continue. Oh, I'm
Oh,
so
yes.
excited. I love ghost
Okay.
stories. They're like my favorite
Okay.
thing.
So let's go to college. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So this is probably the most intense thing I've ever had to deal with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I had the setup at college was that we all got to pick our roommates.
Okay.
So the three other people I was with, we all knew each other and like we're fine.
Oh, that's
But
nice.
but then there was this younger guy up front, and his name was Randall. And Randall, if you're out there, probably not out there, but he didn't do too well with his grades and got academic probation and couldn't stay in housing anymore.
Oh wow.
So when that happened over Christmas break.
Right.
So when we came back from summer, we had a new roommate.
Oh wow.
But the roommate we had very much kept to himself,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
there were two of them.
There were two of them.
There were two guys living in that room,
Interesting.
and I have no idea if they were like both supposed to be in housing, or if one was in housing and the other was homeless,
Right.
or I don't know what the situation was.
Right.
But they were always there together,
Gotcha.
and everything had been fine. Okay,
Had
by
been
the
fine.
time
Everything
everything had
had
been
been fine.
we had been there
So
for
wait,
a
quick
full
question.
year.
The
Okay.
way that your dorm is set up, are you in a suite? Is that why you have like it's you and three other guys?
Yes.
And so he
Yes.
kind of
We have a common
he has
area and
common
a
area.
kitchen,
Okay.
like
And
a kitchen with
okay.
like an oven and
Yeah.
everything.
Okay. And then you have like
And
a
there were
bathroom.
two bedrooms up front
Okay.
and two bedrooms in the back, and everybody has their own private bathroom.
Oh, that's really nice. Okay, I've been in one of
Really
those
nice.
before. Joe had stayed
And
in
we
one
had a
of those.
balcony.
Oh, very
Yeah.
nice.
That
Okay.
balcony looked at a power plant.
Oh, womp womp.
But I mean, you could go out
Yeah,
there.
that's fine.
You could go out there if
You
you
could put
needed
some
it.
tapestries up. Make it look nice.
That's right.
So
That's right.
so he was staying in one of the front rooms, or
Right.
Randall
He was in the
was, and then
front
he
room by
left.
the door.
Okay, and then when Randall left, two guys came back.
That they got his room.
Okay, all right.
Okay. But they kept to themselves because we thought it was one roommate for a little while.
Right.
Like he came in and said he was from New York or somewhere, and then just we didn't really see him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, around February, things started to get strange.
Hmm.
So I would spend a lot of time in my roommate across the hall. I'd spend a lot of time like chilling with him, and there were parts of his room that suddenly started to become uncomfortable.
Ooh.
So, like, you didn't want to be there. Like, there were just like areas along the walls you didn't want to stand.
Right.
And one night, I remember looking at the ceiling, and it looked like it was covered in fog.
Ooh, that's
It
interesting.
was just, and like the back the back corner from the door, the back left-hand corner,
Yeah.
turned dark.
Did you think it was
Like
burning or anything like that?
I did, but it also didn't look natural.
Huh.
Like it didn't look like smoke. It
Right.
didn't. It just looked obscured.
Huh.
The ceiling looked obscured by
Interesting.
like some kind of misty, foggy veil.
Right. Yeah.
And I remember just being like, okay. And his name was Jason. And I was like, Jason, do you see anything weird? He's like, I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh, so he saw it too.
So he saw it too.
Wow.
Were you going to ask something?
No. I'm listening.
Okay.
So it was obviously you both saw it.
We
And
both saw it.
this is the very first thing that happens, or like
This is the first.
It started to feel uncomfortable, and then this happened. Okay, all right.
Right.
Okay.
Right. It was just a feeling of discomfort, like something is off, and then this happened, and it was strange, but it didn't last very long, like a few minutes maybe.
And this had nothing weird had happened prior
Correct.
when Randall was there.
Correct.
Okay. Did you think it was attached to that guy?
I didn't know what to think. I don't know. I've had experiences where things just kind of are there and then pass by, like pass through. So I was like, that's strange, but at least you see it too, so I'm not, losing my mind.
Right. Okay.
So I was like, okay. At least not completely, because we're both having a shared hallucination.
Okay.
So we both got
Gas
the shrooms
leaks,
or whatever it was. Yeah, exactly. So that happened, and it happened periodically, like very rarely, but it did happen a few more times.
Okay.
And it started to get more intense. We had our mutual friend Daniel came over, and we were all playing. We all like Monopoly, which you hate. And
Monopoly is terrible. But I understand if you were in college and you're poor and you can't afford good board games, I understand if you're forced to play Monopoly.
We were playing a version of Monopoly that doesn't take very long.
Oh, okay.
And
so
it's
you're playing
called Monopoly Deal, which is a card game.
Oh, I've seen that.
You
Monopoly
would probably
Deal.
like it. You'd probably like it more than you like the board game.
I'm sure
because it's much more fast
higher
paced.
rating on GameBoardGeeks.com.
Perfect. Sponsor the channel.
Please.
But yeah, like we were playing Monopoly Deal, and I suddenly felt really cold.
Ooh.
And I just saw something move out of the corner of my eye, and I looked down, and there was a little girl's shoe and shin, like
what?
under my chair, walking away.
You saw a baby child, a girl thing.
Baby girl child.
No.
Yes, as we were sitting at the table, and I was like, whoa, and I looked up to like see if I could see anything else, and there was nobody there. It was literally just a split second. I can still see it in my mind. Like she was like
I can see it in my mind
tights.
too. No, oh my god.
Yeah, and like a little, I don't know.
If it had been back then, oh my god, Leaf. If that happened to me, I would have fucking left. I would have been gone forever and ever until the end of time. No, seriously, like Pet Sematary scared the shit out of me. So like any little children that I think could be evil or anything like that, any little children for the longest time because of Pet Sematary used to freak me the fuck out.
Gosh.
Oh my god, that shit will give you nightmares. Oh, I don't really care about any other horror movies, but that one, I think I was such a young child, and I don't know what possessed me to like agree to watch it with my friend, but like we're sitting there on her parents, and like it's in her parents' bedroom, and that's why I can't listen to No Doubt's Don't Speak without thinking about Pet Sematary, because we listened to that song right before we watched Pet Sematary, and then I got scarred for life. So many things. I remember playing Yahtzee right after that, and trying to pretend that everything was fine. There's so many like vivid memories attached to just around that movie because I was so scared. I just
It like
remember
heightened your
everything.
awareness.
Yeah, like my little baby brain was still forming, but obviously not super young to the point where I'm not understand. Like I can play Yahtzee at this point, so it's like what, I'm probably 6 or 7 or something like that. But I'm playing a simple game afterwards. But yeah, right around that time, I remember so much from that specific day watching Pet Sematary just because I was so scared out of my mind. And I was like, children are evil. I'm never going to be a baby again. And just like, oh my God.
Not doing it.
So I would have left. I would have been like, peace out, bruh. I'm sorry, your place is haunted. Hope the devil girl child doesn't murder you or cut off your Achilles heel or something. Ooh.
Oh my God. Right? Well, I mean, there was definitely, I was just like, so I was definitely shocked, and I like sat back in my chair because we're all sitting around the kitchen table, and I like sat back in my chair and was like, whoa, I saw something. And Jason and Daniel both look me in the eye and go, where is it? No.
I would be like, bye, Daniel. Enjoy your haunted shit.
Right.
I gotta go. Oh my God. Why did, just saying, where is it? No.
Yeah,
Fuck you, Daniel. Fuck you.
Suddenly mutual understanding that we're all aware of it. So, I was like, I was looking around, and then there was like a hard knock on the oven door.
No. I don't want to play.
So as far as that night, it mainly goes away. Like there's like this general sense of
on the oven
we're
door.
not here, like we're not comfortable, but we're not in harm's way or whatever. But I was talking to them at one point, and they were convinced. They were apparently appeared in several forms, but it was all the same thing.
What do you mean?
Like the feeling, like when you're near an entity, you feel a particular way.
Right.
Like
it's, something's just off.
Right, and they tend to be charged with like one type of energy. So if somebody's like really angry, and then like you're near them, you feel angry. Right. And then when you go near them, you feel the same anger.
Yeah. And you can usually tell if it's like normally like a positive or a negative feeling. Like you can generally tell if it's a okay ghost or entity, or if it's a typically you're like, no, shouldn't fuck with that today. And okay. All right. So it was always the same feeling, so they kind of knew that it was that ghost.
The same thing. Whether it was like a grown-up person or this little girl. Like it was still the same feeling.
Right.
So they thought, and I don't know what to think, but their idea was there's one thing. I guess that's easier to cope with. Like there's one thing in our house, and that's all we have.
That's all we have.
Yeah, so we don't. It's not like 5 things that are going to gang up on us. It's just one thing that is a shapeshifter.
It's just a little girl that sometimes turns into a demon. It's fine. It's just one thing.
It's fine.
Just one demon.
It's fine. Just one.
Just one. Yeah.
They're not legion yet.
There's not legion. No, you're correct. Oh Lord.
So that was it for that period, and then one night we heard something. Like we were up kind of late, which we generally were in college, but
as college kids are wont to do.
Right, we heard something banging, like rhythmically. Oh. So we were like, maybe there's like a rat in the walls or whatever. These were not the best apartments, okay? Like they're not the best. But we went looking, and it was coming from the roommate up front's room.
Oh, Lord.
And we were listening.
And it wasn't like someone fucking, right?
They were rhythmically chanting. They were chanting.
Ooh. No. Was it backwards in Latin? Did you go in there with some holy water and fuck them up? So
I don't know what it was. And I didn't have any holy water, or I would have. But it was freaky, and we knocked on the door, and everything just went silent.
No.
So
Well, I
there's still
mean,
no
to be
closure on
fair,
that.
to be fair, if someone came in and like knocked on my door and I'm like trying to summon Satan, I'd go quiet too. I'd be like,
You know,
oh
you're right.
shit.
So, but part of me is like, maybe they weren't themselves, or, maybe, they were vessels for an incantation to bring in something bigger, or, they could have been messing with, something.
Interesting.
So, but again, none of that like, we hadn't experienced anything paranormal until those people showed up, and then we caught them doing that one night.
Wow.
So who knows they've done it before?
Right.
That's probably how things showed up in the first place.
Yeah. Now, was your college like known for being haunted, or this is just
No.
like interesting?
I mean,
Okay. All right.
the school itself, no, but a lot of the buildings, for example, we had a big clock tower on campus. It's kind of what the school is known for.
Yeah.
Like, there's a massive clock tower. It's like the logo of the school.
Okay.
And the clock tower is composed of bricks that were salvaged from a cannon factory from the Civil War.
Okay.
So, I mean, there are like old things around campus.
Right. Yeah.
Not like sentimental things, like,
But
somebody's teddy bear is like up there or whatever.
yeah.
But, I mean, it is definitely, it's a very historical area. So, I mean, it's possible things could have just like passed through, which again, I was like very dismissive at first. I was like, well,
yeah.
This could be just like something passing through, maybe it won't linger here.
Yeah.
But then somebody was, up to something next door.
So when you went to that guy and you knocked on his door, nothing happened?
Nothing happened. It just went quiet. And the lights were already off. So they were just sitting in the dark doing that. It was more than one person. It was like voices.
So, but that second guy was confirmed to be an actual person? Like, there was legitimately
they
two
did
people?
come out separately one time to complain about the temperature in the apartment being too cold.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So the thing is, they really liked it hot, and the rest of us liked it cool.
Yeah.
And so in the middle of the night, they would get up and turn the heater on.
Ooh.
And it would be stifling heat. Cannot sleep in this, okay?
Oh my god, yeah.
So low key, back in my room, okay?
Yeah.
I had, bless, the circuit box.
Hey!
So I took the furnace and turned it off.
There you go.
Turned it off. So when they turned on the heat,
nothing happened. Yeah.
So we're good.
You're so smart. Look at you.
And that persisted for a long time until the air conditioner froze over. Okay. So side story, had repairmen come out. They're like, the thing froze over. That's why it's been so cold in here. I was like, oh my gosh, really? Whatever. Like, I'm playing, yeah. So they were like, yeah, the repairman should be here in a few minutes. I was like, I didn't say it, but I was like, thanks for the heads up. So I was like, I need some water from my room. And I went back there to get my glass of water, and I flipped on the furnace as I passed by. Well, first I went over and I was fiddling with the thermostat, and I set it to off. It was set to heat, but I like slowly, quietly bumped it to off, and then turned the furnace on.
Yeah.
So when the repairman came in, he was like, okay, well, I mean, I'm bumping the heat. Nothing's happening right now. Let me go look at the box. And it said the furnace was on, so I didn't get busted.
Hey, there you go.
So,
that's right.
But yeah, we saw them together that one time.
Okay, interesting.
Really interesting. Yeah, so last big part of the story is that one afternoon I came in from class, and my roommate Jason had like slipped in that day, and took a personal day, whatever. And he's like standing in the kitchen eating cereal, like standing there eating cereal, like walking back to his room. As I walk in the door, I was like, "Hey." So we were talking for a minute, and I said, "Did anything happen today?" Like it was just very, checking in kind of question.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And at that moment, I kid you not, every cabinet in the kitchen burst open. And we had some pans and skillets under
Yeah.
the cabinets right by the refrigerator, and
Yeah.
they flew out on the floor.
Oh my god.
He was like, well, it hadn't.
It hadn't, and then you had to go and say something.
Yeah. So
Oh
I
my
was like,
God.
yeah. So when I see, representations of that in films like Paranormal Activity,
Right.
that's very relatable
Yeah. You're
because
like,
it's
ooh,
essentially
shit.
what happened.
Yeah. That's so crazy. So it
And
definitely
it
was
was
something
broad daylight.
demonic. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
there was chanting. I would have been like,
Well, I had no
y'all
idea.
motherfuckers need to go. Like
Right. Well, y'all need
if I
Jesus
heard
first.
yes, first of all, you need to meet our Lord and Savior Poseidon, and then you
That's
need to
right.
go.
Yeah, bye-bye.
So, oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah,
Oh.
it was freaky. That is the hands down most intense thing
So did you
I've
get
ever dealt
that
with.
same? You didn't have those roommates after that semester though, right? Because you got to.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
They
So did
got
it?
busted for drugs, and we actually had their drug lord come into our, like, broke our door,
Oh my
okay?
God.
Broke the door, like the lock and everything snapped
Uh-huh.
off,
Oh my
and then
God.
he smashed into their room. Their door got obliterated, and he took their widescreen TV and their Xbox and PlayStation.
Oh wow.
I guess in reparations for whatever they couldn't pay
Drugs.
back or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. For
But
sure.
yeah, so for a long time we couldn't lock our door.
Wow. That's crazy. So
But things,
after they left, after you weren't roommates with them anymore, was it chill?
right, more chill,
Okay.
but there was still that sense of something is here.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then after a while, it was probably another year or so, there wasn't really anything.
Okay. So it was probably them like saying, "Hey, demons, come hang out with us,"
Yeah,
and
or like
you know,
inciting something.
yeah, for sure. Oh my God,
But then it
crazy.
chilled out. Like, it was still uncomfortable sometimes, but that's the farthest it went.
Yeah. So is there anything after college that happened?
Yeah, so my parents built this nice house. It was a really old shack,
Mm-hmm.
and they fixed it up.
Fixer
Yeah,
uppers.
it's much much larger than it was before. It's like
Yeah.
quadruple the size.
Oh wow.
And yeah, so they must have stirred something up
Mm-hmm.
because when we moved in here, like when we come and visit and like check up on the place, and there was a cat living here, and everything was
Aww.
fine.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really detect anything at that time. But then the first night we were here, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm upstairs, okay,
Right.
and the room is quite large. It's quite a nice, spacious room,
Nice.
and there was creaking, like the floor was creaking. It's a
Mm-hmm.
brand new house, should
Right.
not creak, but it was creaking. And then there was a young girl. She was probably maybe like just preteen or early teen, okay?
Okay.
And she was talking at a distance.
Okay.
I could just hear her. I didn't have a fan or anything to like block out noise,
Yeah.
which I have now. I have an industrial fan, so I don't have to hear
Industrial
anything.
fan. Anti-ghost
Yes,
talking.
and it's really, it keeps me cool. Like, I'm just so hot
Keeps me
natured.
cool, keeps the
Yeah,
ghosts away.
that's right. Well, I don't have to hear them at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was night one.
Okay.
So night
So wait,
two,
you saw the ghost? You saw the ghost.
I saw something,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't until night two
Okay.
that things got more intimate.
Okay.
She wasn't getting my attention,
Right.
obviously,
Obviously.
and so she got on my bed,
Oh God.
okay,
Mm-mm.
and she was whispering. She was whispering,
Oh
I
God.
swear she whispered all night. All night. And I couldn't make out what she was saying, but I was definitely not acknowledging she was there. You know?
Yeah.
I was just like, can you go away? Like, I'm not going to give you the satisfaction. I'm not going to let you know. I know you're here.
Right.
Anything, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But she did. She whispered like all night because
So this is
eventually
where
I toned
you
it out.
you saw her though?
Yeah, well,
You just felt
not
her. You
just
felt
like
her.
I felt her and then like saw like movement,
Okay.
but I couldn't like. I mean, she wasn't very tall, is the thing,
Right.
and she whispered. So I don't know.
Was
Like
she
she
on
just
the bed with you?
she was on the bed
Okay.
or
So
directly
she was
above
like,
it.
or directly above it. Okay. All right. And
Yeah,
then she was just like whispering at your face.
whispering at my face. Yes,
This
and
is that's the
I
kind of
sleep on
ghost
my
I'd be.
back.
I'd be like, yo,
ASMR, baby.
hey, you want to play some video games? I'd really like to play some video games. Can we talk
I'm
about
totally down.
Can we talk about World of Warcraft? Have you heard of our Lord and Savior Volgan? I mean,
Right?
are we for the Horde or for the Alliance? What's going on here?
Right?
Yeah.
I
I'd
got
be
some
the
serious
most
questions.
annoying. I'd be the most annoying ghost. I'd be legitimately the most.
But I'd be
annoying
totally
ghost.
into that though, because like I can like connect with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know like how long she'd been here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I dealt with her, and then but I saw her like the next week.
Mm-hmm.
The next week, I was about to take a shower.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
and I turned on the water as you do, and I was letting it heat up. Well, she turned the water off.
Beach.
Like the knobs turned and the water went off.
Oh my God. I've seen
So
Shane
like, I was
Dawson's
like,
video of him in the Stanley Hotel and seeing the knob
oh
turn
my
on
god,
its own. And I was like, what the And then like he immediately jerks the door open to see who was on the other side because he thought it was Ryland, and it wasn't. Ryland was
right?
sitting down on the bed, like way across the room. They're in a pretty big room. And then Ryland's mom came with them as well. It was Morgan and Shane, which Morgan
Okay,
is Ryland's sister.
the
And so,
sister.
yeah, Shane and Morgan are in the bathroom because they're talking about something, and they're talking about the windows and whatnot, and how unsafe they were. And then they turn to hear a noise, and it's the doorknob legitimately turning and opening the door. Like the door moves, the knob turns, the door moves to open, and
Wow.
Shane like pulls it open, and Ryland's mom, Morgan and Ryland's mom, is sitting by. They have like a little bay window, I guess. It's kind of like a little bay window, with the three little windows.
Oh yeah.
And so
And that's a
she's
little
sitting.
ledge.
Yeah. So it's like a little nook.
Okay.
So she's sitting in that nook, which is at least 6-7 feet away, and she's just sitting there like browsing her phone. And then Ryland's doing the same thing on his phone. He's just looking at photos that he just took, and he's all the way across the room on the other side of the room, completely sitting on the bed. So it's
Oh
like
wow.
no way anyone could have just like casually slowly turned that doorknob, and then you wouldn't have not heard them running away to jump, get to the spot to try and trick Shane and Morgan into thinking it was a ghost. It was just like, and they were so, nonchalant and whatnot. They didn't, it was crazy. So
They didn't see anything was amiss.
she turned the water off on you. That's some
She turned the
shenanigans.
water off, and um yeah. So the shower is like it's a tub, but it has like a clear glass that you slide across
Yeah.
instead of a curtain.
Yep.
Okay, so I saw her through the glass that like with the water all over it.
Yeah.
I saw her in front of the mirror, and again, she's short. She has like light brown hair around her shoulders, and I just saw her for a second, and then the hot water turned off. So now I'm staying in cold water. I was just like, really? Like, what's your fascination? Like, I know you're here. I know you're here. And one time, I sensed she was in there with me.
Yeah.
Like, not in the shower, but in the bathroom.
Right.
And there was a knock on the door. and there was the door opened, and there was an older man in a top hat.
He was just like, "Hello,
Yeah,
sir. How do you do? Can I
yeah.
interest you
Well,
in
he
some
didn't say
crumpets?"
anything. I just saw him. He had like a cane. He had a cane and a top hat. I'm
How
like,
old was
you know,
he?
middle age.
Mm-hmm.
He was like obscenely old,
Interesting.
but just very odd. And I only
That
saw
is
him
very odd.
twice. The other time
Now,
I saw them together in my room.
the girl that you saw in the shower and everything like that, she didn't look like the
Right.
little girl that you had seen when you were brushing your teeth.
No, I don't
So,
think so. I hadn't thought about it. I don't think so.
so you've never tried to like figure out if these were like real people or anything like that?
No, they're just like individual experiences.
Interesting. Interesting.
But I mean, I don't. I mean, I don't know how that works. Like they could totally like manifest in like age
Well,
or
here's the thing.
something,
The
but
thing that I was thinking of is there's different kinds of ghosts. So like some people who believe ghosts are sentient. There's like apparitions which don't really talk, you just see them.
right,
And then there's others where it's like a poltergeist. And poltergeists are considered
right,
to attach to someone. And
yes,
they're usually mischievous, like the thing that just opened all the cabinets and doors and pulled
yes.
things out, or turn off water and things like that. Not saying that you have a poltergeist attached to you, Leaf. It's
Oh,
just
certainly not.
it's
Certainly
just
not.
those things could attach to other people, and then
You're right.
that could just kind of like seem to follow you around. So
And that could
probably,
have followed him when he left.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. It probably followed him when he left, just because,
But there was like that residual.
yeah, there's probably residual energies, and then it just slowly tapers off and goes away. But yeah, so
Yeah.
there regular ghosts, typical ghosts are attracted to a location or a
Right.
spot where they died or so on and so forth. So it's usually a location, but sometimes it can be a poltergeist that attaches to a person rather than like a location or anything. And then I've learned now that there's specific types of ghosts that are called Dybbuk's, and they aren't attached to
Oh.
people, but to objects. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
crazy.
Yes. I get that.
Yeah, so they're attached to objects rather than to people, and then they just
I've
haunt
heard
that
people like
object.
buying things that are really old and then bringing home a little something extra.
You know what? People, you know how people do like those mystery box open, like they open mystery
Uh-huh.
boxes or anything like that.
Oh, sure.
People are starting to buy Dybbuk boxes, which is just like
What?
buying an item that is supposedly haunted and bringing it to your house. I think that's a dumb, dumb fucking idea.
Yes, I
But
agree.
you know what? To each their own. If you want to fuck up your life, that's fine by me. It's whatever.
My thing is like, how does that work with like the postal service?
I don't know.
Like that spirit is like bound to the object, right? So
Right?
like
Yeah.
sitting on planes and like sitting in the back of somebody's truck for a long time, or like sitting in a
Mm-hmm.
warehouse, like
I mean,
or like on conveyor belts. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, yeah,
I have a hard time. But I know that that's like a thing, but
yeah. It's kind of crazy. So you saw
very
the
bizarre.
girl with the man in the top hat in your bedroom?
Yes.
Were
Yes,
they
only
just
one time,
standing there,
and
staring at you?
yeah, I mean, kind of. They were just across the room,
Right.
but I remember just like saying out loud several times, like, "I can't help you,"
Hmm.
which is one of the things people do because a lot of times, like, they're trying to get attention.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to, get. They're trying to get something,
Right.
and I can't help you. Like, I'm sorry.
Right.
I acknowledge you're there, but I can't do what you need me to do.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they tend to go away, and they did go away. I haven't seen them since.
Oh wow. Well, that's nice.
Yeah, and my friend was like, "You should burn sage," and I haven't burned any sage because it wasn't necessary. But
Yeah. Do you believe in that
yeah,
cleansing an area with sage?
I've heard it works. I've never done it though.
I think it's more with the sage thing. I think it's more like what you've already done, because when you cleanse with
Hmm.
sage, sage is, I think it's just like the act of purposely going through a space with the sage and making sure that you're hitting every spot, essentially. And
Right.
so you're always, while you're wafting the sage through the air, you can either use like a fan or a set of feathers, whatever. You
Sure.
are saying, you need to move on, or depending on what you think is there.
Yes.
Saying, this place is only of love and light, and so on and so forth. So it's like you already did that by saying that you couldn't help them, and so they moved on because they're looking for someone to help them. And so I think you did the exact same thing. I think the sage is just there to make sure like you do it for a reasonable amount of time.
They literally will not leave.
Yeah. There's some where I guess it's like you really need to just sit there and be like, yo, dog, you got to go. We don't want you opening all our cabinets again.
Oh, my God.
It's a lot of time taken to close all the cabinets, putting the pots and pans back where they belong.
That only happened one time.
Thank God.
But it did happen.
I can't imagine, like, that shit happening to me. Not even, like, once a day, but, like, once a week would annoy me. I'd be like, well, it's time for the weekly fuck up.
After a while, like, running into spirits becomes, it's a mild annoyance.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh my God, I'm so scared. It's like, okay, this isn't just another thing.
Right, exactly. So.
It's something you do now.
I haven't ran into any spirits yet, except for that one that probably was just a shadow, because I don't think that spirits are attracted to me. But it's fine. One day, maybe a spirit will take a chance on me and be like, yo, dog, I think you're pretty cool. And I'll be like, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Right.
Let's do some shit together. Let's get some EVP sessions in. But yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, let me ask you some questions.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, where are you?
Where are you?
What are you wearing?
In the 12 dimensions.
What temperature is it? Yeah. Where are the exactly? You familiar with string theory?
I am familiar with string theory.
All right. Cool.
But yeah.
I'm really into astrophysics and string theory. Is really cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I've only had one experience since then, and it was a few weeks ago.
Really?
Yes. So
what happened?
I was outside. We've just built a shed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like out back.
Okay.
And so I was back there near it.
Yeah.
Walking my dogs. Okay. And like I was just standing out there. Everything was fine. And then suddenly, I don't know how it happened, but I was just angry.
Oh, you told me about this.
Yeah, I was just angry for no reason. And I caught myself being angry. I was like, because I was talking out loud.
Yeah.
Somebody had done something to make me mad.
Right.
And I was saying out loud what I would say to them if they were there.
Yeah.
And it felt completely normal. But then as I walked back up to the house, it went away.
Ooh.
And I was like, what was I angry about? What was I saying back there? I didn't remember.
God.
I remembered feeling angry, but then not remembering any of the rest of it.
Wow.
So I talked to my friend, and she was like, that sounds like a spirit. And, that's their emotions, and you're nearby.
Yeah.
Is it anywhere else? And so I've forgotten
the scientific thing.
Right. So I went around different parts of the house and didn't experience it.
Okay.
But the day before it happened, my friend who's sensitive was over at the house.
Yeah.
Okay? She was over here. We were like hanging out, having a good time, relaxing, maxing out, cool.
Yeah.
And my mom came home with groceries while she was over. So I go outside. My friend's in the house. She's getting ready to leave. I go outside. I'm getting the groceries all in one load because I do.
Yeah.
And I look. Okay, so I'm in the trunk. I look through the windshield, and I see my friend walking like to the right, coming around to the back.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just I'll go ahead and get my hands out of all these bags and see her off.
Right, and say goodbye.
But she wasn't there.
Ooh.
She wasn't there.
Was she still in the
And
house?
I'm not a very observant person,
Uh-huh.
but she was wearing she had her hair down, like
Uh-huh.
her hair was down,
Right.
which is normal. And she was wearing like a white striped top.
Okay.
And she was like walking to the side. So I was like, okay, like she's coming around the car because she parked behind it.
Right, of
Okay.
course.
She wasn't there.
So she's still
So I was like,
inside.
well, that's why I went to find out. Because
Yeah.
like maybe like I lost her between the windows, right?
Yeah.
So I took the bags and I went on in the house. She's in the hallway talking to my mom.
Ooh, boy. No,
And
no,
her
no,
hair
no,
is
no.
up. And she's not wearing anything white or striped.
Oh, no, no,
It
no,
was
no.
an entirely different
Different
outfit she
person.
was wearing. Her hair was different, but I saw her outside.
And you know it was your friend.
Yeah, it looked just like her. And you making me think about this. I had a similar experience when I was helping her move out of her old house.
Right.
I was getting a same kind of situation. I was on the far side of the house
Uh-huh.
in the car, like getting some things out of the back seat on the passenger side.
Right.
And I saw her come out to her car with her keys.
Right.
And then I was like, oh, okay, she's like getting ready to lock the door for when I get this last load out.
Mm-hmm.
But then she turned and went back in the house. So I was like, maybe she forgot something. Whatever. So I get the load out and close the door, and I go in the house, and I was like, first of all, she's coming out of the kitchen at the
Mm-hmm.
back of the house.
Okay.
And I said, what did you forget? Like, I didn't want to, whatever. And she
Yeah.
was like, forget? I said, yeah, when you came out to the car. She goes, I didn't come out to the car. I've been in
No,
here the
no,
whole
no, no,
time.
no.
I
No,
unpacked the
no, no,
kitchen.
no. No, no.
So that's twice I have seen something that looks like her.
And she doesn't have a sister?
No,
Ooh.
no, she has
No,
a
no, no,
brother.
no, 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 no.
But yeah,
That's
like just like
spooky.
her.
Oh,
And yeah,
oh, she could have something
yeah,
attached to her. That
she
ain't
could. And I
cool.
told her about it. I was like, this reminds me of that one time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so, but very strange. Very, very, very strange. And but yeah, so that happened. Went back in the house. It wasn't her. And then the next day, I run into that angry thing in the backyard.
Ooh,
And it
that's
was
so
there for
spooky.
probably 3 days.
Huh.
And then it's not there anymore.
Maybe it's angry that it's not tricking you.
Maybe.
I
I
don't
mean,
know. I don't
it's possible. You saw through me, I'll come back
know.
again.
Yeah.
Because those were in different places.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those were in different towns
It's
that
probably
happened.
attached to her.
It
Specifically,
must be.
the reason why I feel that, well, okay, here's the thing. I've noticed that people, so Cricket has um, explained that things will attach to her, and
Mhm.
they won't stay attached to her for a long time because she'll usually banish them, meaning like saying, hey, you're not welcome to just like hang around me all the time and like just haunt
Oh,
me.
right, right.
You're not allowed to haunt me. And so she
Yeah.
was like, you need to go back to where you were. And so she'll go to places that are haunted. Things will attach onto her because they can siphon from her, right? So they can pull energy
Right.
from your friend. And so they can
Yes.
manifest easier. But then they have to stick with that person. So they attach to that person because they get benefits from it. But she has to
Right.
be like, yo, dog, you got to go. Because otherwise, like Cricket had something attached to her from St. Albans. There was one time we were up in the top there. It's like 4 stories. It's crazy huge.
Oh, wow.
In the top floor, there is an area called Rebecca's room, and Rebecca attached to her. Cricket
Oh.
walked in. We were completely fine. We were having a normal conversation. We were talking to like the investigator that was up there with us because we had an investigator for each section of the house, and they were all different people that do different things. And so the guy was up there talking to us. We were having completely normal conversation. Cricket walks into what is known as Rebecca's room. She breaks down and starts sobbing. Like she is crying. And
Oh.
like we leave the room, she's completely fine. She's completely fine. So that happened. Then she said when we came back home, she said Rebecca was sitting in her living room and like crying in her living room. She woke up because she heard crying. She walked into her living room and Rebecca is sitting there. And she doesn't know what Rebecca looks like. So, well, she has a vision of Rebecca, but she doesn't know if that was for sure Rebecca because we don't know what Rebecca looked like. Like,
oh, sure. Yes.
The St. Albans Sanatorium, they didn't take pictures of all of their patients, so they don't know what she actually looked like, so they can't confirm or deny. But she was saying that she's pretty sure it was Rebecca that attached to her. And then she as you've heard, saged her house, and she was like, Rebecca, you gotta go. And so Rebecca left. But I'm pretty sure that's what's happening to your friend. That's what it sounds like. Especially if it looks like her. That's some spooky doppelganger shit right there.
It is really freaky.
That's gotta go. So yeah, maybe it's getting angry because it wants you to pay attention to it, and it wants your friend to pay attention to it, and she's probably not. She's probably just ignoring it. She's probably just
she acted like she'd never heard of it. She was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like, I've been here the whole time. Like, she doesn't have people. I guess she doesn't have very many sensitive friends though.
Right. Yeah.
That would also perceive it when she wasn't around.
Interesting.
Because both times, that thing has walked away from her.
Yeah.
And then come to see me.
Right, yeah. Interesting.
And then she wasn't aware that it had gone anywhere. So it could just be like dormant and like feeding on her slowly.
Yeah.
So she's like, I don't know, it must not be a harmful relationship because she's okay, but...
Still interesting though, yeah. If it's not doing anything to her, I mean, it's whatever. It could, but also, that's so crazy, because, people in families could have, it could be your grandmother if she ended up looking like your grandmother. It could be a number of things. It could be like an aunt that she looks like, or
true
different things like that. It's interesting. But it could also just be a terrible spirit feeding off of her, and she doesn't know it. So.
Yeah.
Interesting.
She's got a lot of that sensitivity that runs through her family too. It's really cool. Like I think it was her grandmother used to like work with she used to work with like the GBI and like the police.
Oh, really?
To find missing people. She could touch an object and then see all of the people that had ever touched it.
That's insane.
And find them.
That's insane.
She would find people that had gone missing by touching things that belonged to them.
Wow. That's crazy. I would not
really
want
wild.
That superpower. I don't want to
You want that?
I don't want that superpower.
Oh, you don't want
No. Like, what if someone was like, what if you touch a dildo and then you find out that someone actually used it
my God.
before you bought it? Like, you buy a dildo thinking it's new, and then you touch it and you're like, oh, God damn it, not another one. And it's just like,
but wouldn't you want to know?
Used. No, I don't want to know. LeafTV.
Oh.
It's not okay. I just would rather live in ignorance. Blissful ignorance. That's what I want.
I guess.
It can be cleaned. I just don't want those visuals in my head.
I've seen some companies that are like, every single device is personally tested before it's sent out. I was like, okay, all right, well.
No, not for me. I don't need to know. I'm sure it works.
It's kind of hard to think about, though, right?
No, LeafTV.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to.
That's fine.
No,
it's
not. I don't know how hygienic those people were.
You're right.
You're
right.
I'm good. I'm safe right now. I feel safe. If I had to touch things, though, and see, like, murders happen or, like, other things happen, I don't know that I'd be okay.
You want to stay in the Matrix.
Yeah, I want to stay in the Matrix. I don't want to break out of the Matrix. Okay. It's a nice place. I like it.
Yeah.
Everything is a hologram. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Especially in the red dress.
Yes.
But that's really interesting. And then like her aunt that she's like closest to, we like met each other a while back, and she's really awesome. She wants me to come stay with them sometime. Aww. And she lives in Connecticut.
Oh wow.
Well, Connecticut, I haven't been there myself, but my friend says there are spirits everywhere, like walking on the sidewalks everywhere.
I would
because it's so old.
It has to be. Yeah.
There's like a lot of history, battles and things.
Yeah.
And her aunt is not sensitive, or not really sensitive, I guess. Mm-hmm. But my friend went and visited her, and she has some kind of negative entity in her attic. which is also where the guest bedroom is.
Oh, that's not good.
So, like, she has people, like, come up there and, like, visit with her and, like, stay up there. But my friend was like, you would not want to stay up there.
No.
Because it doesn't come down from in the attic.
It just stays up there. Just
But
dwells up there.
It stays, yeah.
No, I wouldn't like that.
Like,
I probably
yeah,
wouldn't
okay.
feel it. I'm such a non-sensitive person. I probably wouldn't feel
That's-
anything,
yeah.
so I'd probably sleep
That's a
great.
blessing.
Like,
Yeah.
I could sleep in the middle of I could sleep anywhere, honestly. As long as it's not physically dangerous to me, I'm fine.
Yes, I understand.
But
Kind of like the whispering thing, like, psh,
yeah. If a ghost tries to whisper
It's like-
to me while I'm sleeping, good luck, ghost. You
right, I'm dead.
I'm literally, yes.
You think
I'm
you're dead?
literally
I'm dead.
I pass out. Yeah, you think you're dead. You haven't seen dead.
That's right. That's right.
Hilarious. But yeah. So.
But I very much, I believe there's an explanation.
Oh, I'm sure.
I just
there
don't
is.
know what it is.
Yeah.
And until then,
You're
you
going
know-
to keep searching. Keep looking.
exactly. But ghosts, I mean, that's sure what it seems to be.
Or demons. It could just be demons.
Or demons.
Demons, ghosts.
Or some really rogue angel trying to, like, incite us back to the Lord or
a
something.
really trolly angel. That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
I'd be a trolly angel.
Have you prayed lately?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Oh, how long has it been since you prayed? That's how long your Wi-Fi is going to go out. Suck it.
Oh my god. No. Don't you speak that evil on my life. Oh, no.
That would be the kind of... I'd be a terrible angel. I'd
Yes,
that'd be bad.
vindictive angel.
Yeah, I would. Oh, you're like, it's been how long since you prayed? Goodbye, internet. Just
That's right.
the power's out. Oh,
Right.
woe is you.
You want to reach everybody? Yeah, you can reach the Lord right now. No internet required.
Oh, but thank you so much for being on the podcast. Thanks
Yeah,
for sharing
thanks
all
for
your
having
spooky things.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe after the next spooky excursion I go on, maybe I'll have some fun stories to trade with you.
I'm sure you
Maybe
will.
I'll be able to repay you after the ghosts finally see fit to talk to me. I'll be like, I know Leaf, and he's seen plenty of your friends. Have you? Like, all ghosts know each other.
Is that what you're gonna say, though?
All ghosts know.
All you ghosts all know each other. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Maybe.
But thank you so much for being on. I appreciate
Yeah, thanks
it.
for having me. It was cool.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of college ghosts and pretty much all ghosts. That's a lot of ghosts that you've encountered in your life. Super sensitive LeafTV.
I mean,
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening, you guys. If you enjoyed it, leave us a comment, like, subscribe, whatever. Do the things. Let us know. And we'll see you next time. Say bye, LeafTV.
Bye, LeafTV.
Bye.
Bye.